Welcome back, wannabes and creators, to another episode of The Business of Art, the podcast that demystifies business for artists. And today on the show, I have Andrea, or A.G. Billig. She is an author and founder of selfpublishingmastery.com. And weirdly, I had her on the show to discuss self-publishing mastery. I know, it's totally weird. Before we get into it, I want to remind you that the first chapter of my new book, Sell Your Soul, How to Build Your Creative Career, is online now for free at GoSellYourSoul.com. Do not miss it. It is a book that I wrote for you, gentle listener. I literally wrote it for you guys, based on all of the stuff that I have heard you guys ask over the years. So please head on over to GoSellYourSoul.com and check it out today. That being said, let's get on with the show. Take it away, Andrea. Tell us what you're passionate about these days.
Well, my passion these days is about helping authors connect with readers, find their niche, and achieve the success they deserve. Because I feel that there are so many talented people out there who have outstanding books, and the only thing that stands between them and the success they deserve is a lack of visibility. So this is my passion right now, just helping people and make them visible.
Right. So if you could give a couple of tips for like how an author can get more visibility, like quick tips, because most people aren't doing anything. So like, let's not take this to like 100, but like a couple of simple things people can do just to get a little more visibility on their work that you see.
Well, I think you said it yourself. So the first thing they need to do is to do something. And by doing something, I mean realize that they have a problem they need to solve. So once they are aware that they have this problem they need to solve, then they need to act upon it. So either they start taking action by themselves, either they, choose to work with someone who can help them achieve this visibility. It can work either way, but let's do something. And the first steps, the basic steps, are to have an author platform, have the website, have the social media channels in place, be active on those channels, be consistent, be interesting. Also, look at their author brand. Do they have a powerful author brand? And if they don't have one, well, start building this one. And also, get out into the world. They should be in front of the computer while they write their books and while they work on their social media channels, posting, engaging with people. But otherwise, get out of their houses, of their offices, go to events, meet other people, and go where readers are and find those readers. So I think action is required, and also know their readers, because you can talk to people until in the way that is appropriate, and it's also persuasive until you know a little bit about those people. What are their interests? What are their emotions? What are they looking for?
I think that last part is so. There's a ton I want to unpack in here, but the first is the last piece. I think is so important because so often I talk to authors who haven't released the book, and they're like, "Well, what should I do? Why can't I get anybody to buy the book?" And I say, "Well, have you talked to the people who've bought your book already?
Mm-hmm.
And they go, no, of course. And I'm like, no, I haven't done any of that. And I'm like, well, how can you possibly know what to do next? Or if you haven't even written a book, if you're not talking to your intended reader, how could you possibly know if they're going to like the thing that you want? And then how can you bet your next year of your life on writing that book if you don't know it's going to at least have some people who have a passing interest in it?
Yeah, that's completely true. And yeah, talk to those people, and also look at other authors in your genre and see what they are doing. I mean, successful authors, see what their audience is, or just use Google to find information. But yeah, know your readers. That's one of the most important things you can do. And I've noticed, at least in Southern California, LA area, there were a lot of summer reading programs, both for children and adults. So you can always tap into those programs that usually they go on public libraries, and even try to be part of one of these programs, because then you can see if there is reading in your genre. You can actually get in touch with new people, and you can also see their reaction to your work, because you have those people in front of you, and you can see if they like what you do or if they don't like what you do.
For sure. A lot of times people ask me, or they tell me they can't afford a table at a show.
Mm-hmm.
Where can they go for free? And I said, well, have you talked to your local
Yeah.
library? They go, no. And I've never met a librarian who would turn down an author reading.
Mm-hmm.
They are always looking for programming, and they're always looking for things that help. So, like, if you go in there and say, I would like to come in and do a free author reading for you or a free author workshop for you, I have not met a librarian who was mean and would just kick you out or yell at you for asking the question, and B, would turn you down for free help.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't met one either. So yeah, people, I think one of the nicest thing about the self-publishing indie uh, community, and about even public libraries, is that everybody wants to, and even bookstores, because I know some people at independent bookstores who are really nice and who really want to help authors. So one thing I like about this community is the willingness people have to help each other and support each other. And that's huge, because you don't find it everywhere. So we are lucky to have this in our community. So take advantage of it.
And on top of that, everybody loves books. There's one thing about librarians and bookstore owners is they love books. They're not doing it for the money. Library sciences degrees are very long, and the pay is not that great. And they're doing it for the love of books. Bookstore owners and comic book store owners and the same, they're not getting rich on owning that comic book store or that bookstore. They're doing it for the love of books. And good news, you have a book. So they're probably, if it's a good book, even if it's a mediocre book, are going to want to talk to you about books.
Yeah. Well, you know very well that another important aspect is the way that authors present their books. I'm talking about, the cover and the editing, but I assume that these elements are already in place, and that they are great. So I assume they have a great cover, and the book is well edited and everything is just right. So all the rest depends on the marketing and getting this visibility. And I was talking to a movie producer. His name is Ken Echety, and he was telling me that he believes, or that he read this study that said that a reader needs to see a book at least 5 times before they make a decision to purchase that book. So imagine that you need to put your book in 5 different places to be seen like on Facebook, maybe on Twitter, maybe in a magazine, use traditional media to get some exposure. Maybe you can get on a podcast, or on a radio show, or even on a TV show, on a small, if there is a small TV station in your area, maybe you can get a slot if you know how to tie your story to the local news. This could work for you as well.
Right, absolutely. I mean, I do think that people think that they're just going to show the book once and they're going to buy. But like I've heard that number can be up, depending on what you're selling, up to 14 times that you have to get something in front of people before they will buy it. Now, if you're going to a live event, you can cut a lot of that down. Because like now you're in front of somebody, talking to somebody, they know, like, and trust you. You're not just an image on a screen. Or if you're on a podcast, that's also good. But like if someone can hear your voice, but most importantly, if they can see you or talk to you, you're going to cut that 14 down to maybe 1, which is one of the reasons why like going to these live events or going to speaking engagements or being out in the community is so effective, because while it is a chore to put on pants like and get out of your house, you also get the benefit of meeting people and making connections with them much quicker and much deeper than you would if you were just online.
Yeah, that's true. And this requires an investment of your time, of course, and of money, because to go to a show like the LA Book Festival and to have a booth there, you need to pay for that booth. So, since your podcast, Russell, is about business, let's not forget that self-publishing is not necessarily like something that goes for free. Self-publishing is a business. So if someone decides to go this route, to do the self-publishing route, and wants to be successful, they need to consider that they will need to invest their money before getting a return. So this is something I found out going through the self-publishing process with my book.
Right. I mean, so I was talking to somebody literally this morning, and they were talking about where they could go. They don't have a lot of money. They wanted to find places that they could go and sell things for free. And I gave them a list. We talked about a lot of them: bookstores, libraries, like swap meets, things like that, and generally get like a free table or a very, very cheap table. But I also said, like, you pay for traffic. Like, if you want a lot of traffic, you have to pay to like be in front of a lot of people. So like if you want to go to Comic-Con, it's going to cost you a lot of money. If you want to go to San Diego, it's going to cost you at least $500 if you get a small press table, if not thousands of dollars more. But you get in front of 160,000 people more quickly. So do you want to do 300 events a year that you pay very little or nothing for? Or do you want to pay a lot more money and get the traffic that comes with that?
Yeah.
And that's the same online. That's just going to finish like that. And it's the same, like, do you want to just have your book out there and do marketing, or do you also want to do advertising and get more eyeballs for a cost?
Yeah, well, it's a matter of decision and also a matter of mindset, because if the mindset is, well, I'm not sure what's going to happen, what if I lose my money, why should I put money into it, then it's not going to happen. But then if you are confident and if you love your book, and if you know that you have a really good book, then your mindset shifts and it's easier to make these decisions. And let's say set up a budget and say, okay, for my first book or for my book, for my new book, I'm willing to put this money and see what I can get out of it. And then I think it's by trial and error, trying different approaches, different strategies, even when it comes to advertising, and see what pays off. And then you can adjust in the future.
Absolutely. But like like you said, like you said this earlier, but you are taking a calculated risk
Mm-hmm.
because you have done your research.
Mm-hmm.
You've gone on to the Amazon Top 100
Mm-hmm.
and seen what the book covers look like,
Mm-hmm.
and you have gotten a cover that looks similar to the book covers you've seen. You've written a blurb similar to the books that are like yours that you've seen. You've gotten a list of all of the authors who are very successful in your genre already, and you're going to take a book that kind of looks and feels like the other books that are in your genre that you've professionally edited, and you're going to send traffic to the list of people, and you've that like is kind of in your genre, and you've gone to people who already read books in your genre, and they've told you that that book is good. Like, you're making a pretty educated
Mm-hmm.
guess
Right.
that if you have gotten a cover that looks kind of like the cover, you've written a book kind of like those books, edited the book, and you've given it to people who read those kind of books, and they've all said they liked it, and it's something that they would buy. That if you go and you run ads to those similar kinds of people, or you go to a show that's similar to that stuff, then you will be successful,
Yeah,
right?
like in everything else in life, if you want to achieve your goal, you need to, one, be very specific about what your goal is, and then do your research and see what steps you need to take to achieve that goal. So I think that's one of that's the first thing you need to do, like set up a goal. Okay, so I want to be successful, I want to be a bestseller author, so then what do I need to do? I need to have a great cover, great book, and then I need to market well my books. So what do I need to do? What channels, what marketing strategies I need to use? What channels, what price I need to set up? What will I do? Will I go Amazon exclusive or not? Does it really pay off um, um, to try other distribution channels or not? Where is my audience? Is it only US based, or now, since there are millions of English speakers around the world, do I want to reach those people as well and increase my revenue streams? And am I willing to have a paperback, or am I willing to invest some money into an audiobooks? Audiobooks, I know that they have a steady growth, and people are listening more and more to audiobooks while commuting for hours on freeways, or while jogging or walking in the park. So there are lots of things authors can do to increase their visibility by offering to their readers a chance to connect with their work through various channels. Because usually someone who buys the book, paperback or the ebook, they will probably buy the audiobook, and they will listen to the audiobook in their car, and then they will continue reading it when they're at home, you know.
Right, absolutely. I mean, I think that's I just had on Monica Leonel, and she was talking about the value ladder, and like how like a book and then an audiobook and other things can like really increase like the revenue
Mm-hmm.
that you make. But like you said, like the interesting thing when people complain about money in
Mm-hmm.
books is that this isn't like 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Like, the information is all there.
Yes.
Like, you can go on Amazon right
Mm-hmm.
now and look at the top 100 books
Mm-hmm.
and see if all of those books that are the top 100 in urban fantasy are all on Kindle Unlimited,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all priced at $2.99, and they all have a female on the cover holding a stake
Yeah.
or holding a weapon. You should probably do that. If they all have there are podcasts, there are things that you can do. And then if you do that and you say, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do those things. then okay, cool. Like, I'm not saying you should do those things, but you have to know it's going to be a harder row to hoe if you don't follow those conventions.
Yeah, it's true, but it's also, I think, um, authors should be true to who they are and be authentic, because then readers, they can feel right away when people are not authentic. And even if you write in a genre, uh, I think a little twist. I was talking to there is this wonderful book cover designer, and she's also an author, and she's a singer, a musician. Her name is Jessica Bell. She's from Australia, but she lives in Greece now, and she creates these fabulous book covers. And she wasn't a graphic designer, but she needed some beautiful book covers for her own work. So she learned how to do it, and then other people asked her to do it for them too. But that's what she said. Okay, when I created a cover, I look at the genre, of course, and but I'm not afraid to add a little twist. So I think standing out, it's also it can be a strategy, and it can pay off.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to tell me about making different book covers. Like,
I'm not telling
I
you.
felt like I don't follow any of like these rules that I'm talking about. Like, I make whatever book cover I feel like, and like I put it on there, and I don't get very many Kindle sales. I get very many show sales, but like I don't get many Kindle sales. So like, you have to know, like, if you're gonna just flip conventions on their head, you have to know that like you're going to have a longer row to hoe. Like, eventually it might work out really well for you because everyone can see your book or your genre in the cover. But usually when somebody looks at something and goes, I don't know what this is, their first instinct isn't to buy it. It's to turn away and not buy it.
No. I wasn't saying, just, drop off all the rules and, like, but just add a little twist, add something that makes you stand out, that stirs, I don't know, maybe stirs a little bit of controversy, or stirs curiosity rather. Okay, here's something it looks familiar, but yet it's different. So let's see what's in here.
I mean, I do also think that if you just write to whatever the tropes are, then you can be replaced by anybody.
Yeah.
As opposed
that's
to like
true.
if you're your own thing and you put your own twist on it, then like you will be less likely to be replaced because you're doing your own thing. Like, it's your thing. Again, it's kind of going towards the conventions of the genre, but it's also like playing in your own space as well.
Yeah, and I think that's playing in your own space. That's something you should start with. I mean, I would never start writing a book by thinking, okay, I want to write in this genre. I have an idea, and then, I outline and I start writing, and then at the end I look at it and I say, okay, where does it fit? I hope it fits into my reader's heart, like it it brings something good in their life. That's what I think. But of course, with Amazon and everything, we need to find the right genre and right niche, and want to choose the keywords and the categories, like choose the right one. You don't want to put a thriller book into a romance category, or promise something that you won't deliver in the book.
Right, absolutely. I mean, so I have this issue right now with series of books because I don't have any romance in my books. There's very little romance. I mean, there's so little romance. I'm just going to say there's no romance in any of my books. But most of my books are like urban fantasy category, closest to urban fantasy, and that category is very heavily influenced by paranormal romance. So the people in that category that buy those books kind of expect there to be romance in an urban fantasy book. I don't have any romance in an urban fantasy book. I just have more monsters and more action and more violence than most other urban fantasy books have. So like this is how you can put your own spin on on a genre, but still knowing that like you're putting your own very different spin on a genre, so like the audience might gobble it up because it's something they haven't seen before, but it might be something that like they also don't respond to and will be a harder sell. But I agree with you, like you have to like you sort of have to write to the genre while still doing your own thing, but knowing that by doing your own thing, you might alienate the people in that genre and make it a much harder row to hoe. But if you don't write in that genre, and if you don't write your own thing, then you're just going to be replaced by the next person that does.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of choice here too, because we all know that there are some genres that sell really well. I mean, thriller, mystery, romance are two of the most popular genres. And yeah, well, somebody who is good at writing can decide, okay, I want to make some money, so I want to write a book in one of the top selling genres on Amazon, and they can go this route. Or somebody has a book in them, like a story they need to tell, and then they can be true to that story and put that story out on paper, and then see where it goes from there. And then with the categories, we can always play around with them and try different ones. So if one category doesn't work, we can always change it.
Right, that's true. I mean, nothing when you launch something,
Yeah.
It's not in stone. You can always I mean, you can always change a cover. You can always unlist it and relaunch it again later. Like, there are all of these things that you can do to make it more, to like, launch it better. And I'm a huge proponent of, like, writing whatever you want and not really caring about the genre, because, like, if you really wanted to write something that you didn't care about. So, like, if you really want to write a Buffy-style action comedy, and that's really not a genre that's like on Amazon, like that, in that like monsters, like that's not really like its own subgenre of thing. Like it's kind of action adventure, it's kind of women adventure, it's kind of urban fantasy. I don't quite know what it is. Like, and you're like, I really want to write that, but I guess I have to write this urban fantasy with like strong romance elements. I'm gonna flat out say like, like if you're gonna write something that you don't really want to write, you might as well go and sell something else.
Yeah.
Because like it's hard to sell books. Even really successful authors, it's hard to sell books. Like it'll be much easier for you to go and sell Funko Pop figures because like that is a thing that like already has a market. If you want to write something, you should understand that it is not in a specific genre, but you should write that thing that you want to write.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And going back to a little bit of visibility, I was reading an article today about a study they did in Canada recently, and it seems that word of mouth is still the most powerful way to get visibility, because I think 50% of the Canadian readers, they buy a book based off the word of mouth. So the question is, how do we make people to talk about our books?
How do we get people to talk about our books?
Yeah. And
do you have a couple of tips that you can give people?
Well, first and foremost, write a great book. Because if you write a great book, and if you have a great book and then one person buys that book, and loves that book, that person is going to talk. They are going to talk about it to their friends, and then they are going to borrow that book to their friends, and even buy that book for, like as a present for Christmas or for birthday. So if you don't have a great book, I think what you can do all the marketing in the world. People will not talk about it. But if you have a great book, so you can do a book launch, for example, like a book launch event that's different than the usual. You go and sit down in front of people and read a couple of pages. You can create a whole world and a whole experience around your book. And I remember I talked about it with Sherry Fink. She does really great. She has created a whole experience around her books for children. And I questioned her and I interviewed her about this for the upcoming self-publishing mastery, where you are also one of our top speakers, Russell. I couldn't help, but I had to bring this up now. But I think that book launch events are also a great way to trigger people's attention, because they will talk about not only about your book but also about their experience. And you can also get media exposure. So what I did, for example, I wrote a fiction book. It's called Four Doors and Other Stories, and I rewrote one of the stories as a monologue, and I had a kind of a performance where I was on stage performing that monologue, and there was an accordion player playing tango, and I had tango dancers and video projection. And the event was called the Summer Story, because that was the theme of the short story. And I had like 200 people, and they all took pictures, and then they posted on Facebook and Instagram. And have a 3 TV stations coming there interviewing us. So it was an event that generated word of mouth. And I think the way to generate the word of mouth on the internet, online, is Goodreads. Because people there, they put their books on their shelves and they talk about books. So if you get the people to talk about your book on Goodreads, that's going to impact on your overall sales and on your visibility. And also, I think word of mouth can be triggered by media. I mean, if somebody goes live on Oprah or on Ellen DeGeneres show, then of course women who watch that show, they're going to talk about it. Oh, did you see that one? Did you hear about that book? Let's buy that book. But media can impact the word of mouth, or doing something that's really different and can draw people's attention and can make them talk about you and your book.
Right. Yeah, I love that you talk about experiences and like making things feel like an experience, because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do with our books. We're trying to like create experiences, and that's really this whole fiction category is like. Nonfiction is a lot about transformation, but like fiction is about experience and like escaping reality in some level and like getting immersed in a world or a different experience.
Yeah, and there are not so many authors who create this 360 degrees experience for readers. Most of them, they just write books and they put those books out there, which is great. I mean, that's what a writer is supposed to do. But the whole game is changing and the world we live in is changing. So we need to adapt. And so if we are writers, this means that we are creative people. So this is another way to use our creativity outside our books. And use our brain differently. And when we use our brain differently, some new neural pathways, they form, and they make us even more creative and offer us a broader perspective.
I love that. All right, so we have to work towards wrapping up, and this is the segment that we get to talk about the thing that you kind of teased a little bit earlier, which is your self-publishing mastery and your new virtual summit coming up. So, I mean, I'm going to ask you, but I already know the answer to this question is like, so what do you have coming up next?
Well, I have this self-publishing mastery summit coming up because when I started the self-publishing mastery journey almost 2 years ago, I knew nothing about self-publishing. But I was convinced that that's the way to go. I think self-publishing is a huge opportunity right now, and I think it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I realized that more and more authors, they are going this route, and they need information, and they need support, and they read like really hands-on good advice on what they need to do to be successful. So I thought, okay, let's talk to some of my favorite experts, to some of the people I know and I trust in the industry that can really offer value for authors. And I got lucky to have these people on this self-publishing mastery summit that's scheduled for the 14th, 15th of September. So only 2 days, 11 people. And me, so we are 12, but all the information is like really, really valuable. So I've got you, Russell, and Sherry Fink, which I've mentioned before. Also Robert Yelling, which is one of the best editors I know in Southern California. Kenneth HT, who is a movie producer and who will share lots of useful information and tips on how to write your book if you want your book to be turned into a movie. Gerald Everett Jones, who is also the host of the Get Published radio show. Linda Polio. Linda Polio, I think she must be the most awarded self-published author to date. I know. Her debut novel won 13 awards. So that's impressive. And others, but you should go to selfpublishingmastery.com and you will find the details on the website pretty soon.
Okay. And so we didn't even talk about this, but like, what is selfpublishingmastery.com?
Well, selfpublishingmastery.com, that's an idea I had while I was looking for information online to self-publish my own book, I Choose Love. And I realized that there was a lot of information, but I had to go on various websites to find everything I needed. So as a journalist, because I've been a journalist for over 10 years, I had this vision that, I'd like to create the Billboard magazine, like the Billboard in the US for music. So I'd like to create the Billboard magazine for the self-publishing industry, a place where people can go and find interviews with successful authors, successful editors, and other service providers, and where they can find not only a list, but to find a description of the best podcasts and Facebook groups and book blogs, and so basically everything you need to know for successful self-publishing. So that's how I like to call it, like the Billboard magazine of the self-publishing industry.
Awesome. And this is the next evolution of that. The summit is kind of the next evolution of that, where you're going from just doing interviews on a page, like having this virtual summit. And and so in the next week, is there going to be because this is recording, this is going to go live next week, is there going to be like a sign-up page or something on your website?
Yeah. It should be ready by then.
Awesome. And it's basically like 11 interviews, each about an hour long. I remember mine was about an hour long, and like you talk about like some aspect of self-publishing, right?
Yeah, we are covering the business aspect, of course the book marketing aspect, and the writing craft, because don't forget, marketing, it's mandatory, it's crucial, but writing a good book, a great book, a book that speaks to people, that stirs their emotions, or even a book that's entertaining, a page turner, a book that people will love, and a book that people will love so much that they will feel compelled to share with their friends. That's what you need. And if you have this, then your work, like the marketing and promotion, it will be much more easier.
I love it. Awesome. Okay, so this is the point in the show that everybody who's doodling on their art desk or writing on their computer is going to turn around, come back to the show for just a couple of minutes, and this is where you can impart the piece of advice you want them to remember. So it could be something that you said so far. It can be something that you haven't said yet. But what piece of advice would you like people to have when they leave this show?
My piece of advice would be love your book. Love your book, love writing, love what you do, because everything is energy, and love is such a beautiful and powerful energy. And once you embed it in your book while you are in the writing process, it will be so contagious that people will feel it. And they will feel it, and they will fall in love with their book, and they will send that love back to you. So love your book, and never doubt yourself, never doubt your talent, never doubt your ability and the possibility of success for you. Just trust in you, and trust in the universe.
Awesome. I love it. All right. How can we find you online, both your website and your social media?
Well, you can find me, I'm the selfpublishingmastery.com. You can find me on my author website, which is agbillig, agbillig.com. I'm on Facebook as agbillig. There is also a self-publishing mastery, self-publishing mastery page. And you can find me on Twitter as well as agbillig, and on Instagram. Instagram is one of my favorite social media channels. Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds great. Well, thank you so much, Andrea, for coming on. We definitely appreciate it and all the knowledge that you dropped today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm a fan of your podcast. As I told you, I think it's one of the best and the most valuable podcasts for writers, whether they are just aspiring beginners or they are already established, because there are so many useful insights on that show that it shouldn't be missed. So it's an honor for me to be here. Along other great guests you had along your many episodes so far. So thank you very much.
So that was our show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go find Andrea online and let her know how much you liked what she had to say. And don't forget to pick up the first chapter of my new book, Sell Your Soul, How to Build Your Creative Career, which is free at GoSellYourSoul.com. Have a great day, wannabes and creators. I will talk to you soon.